everyone. Today we will be looking at what are rotations. So we're going to be checking out some rotations in a coordinate plane. In our last two lessons, we have looked at transformations that were translations and a transformation that included a reflection. And the next type of transformation that we're looking at is a rotation. So we slid, we flipped, and now we're going to spin. We're getting dizzy over here. So, there are several types of rotations that can happen. Okay, so we can spin a figure different directions and different amounts of directions. So first, let's just talk about the word rotation. Okay, so a rotation is when a figure turns around or spins. A center of rotation. And that center of rotation, in this case that we're looking at, is going to be the origin, or 0, 0 of the coordinate grid. Okay, so this is when a rotation is when a figure turns or spins around the center or the rotation. And when a figure turns or spins, it can go two different directions. So we can have two different types. We can have a spin that is clockwise, or you can have a spin that is counterclockwise. Okay, so let's think about in your head, or you can picture it on paper, what a clock looks like. So you have a clock that's 12, and then 3, 6, 9. Here's the center. Here's where the hands of the clock would go. A clockwise rotation rotates the right way. So it rotates this way, just like a normal clock would do. Okay? A clock that's moving counterclockwise, you have, there's your 12, there's your 3, 6, and 9. Here's your center. It moves the opposite way. So it starts at 12, it goes this way, and then it would keep going around the opposite direction. That one's really confusing because I drew a circle, and I'm sorry. So maybe I should just put a circle around this one too. So you have two clocks. The hands are moving either the normal way, like 12 to 3, or backwards, 12 to 9. Okay, so we have two different directions in which those hands can move. So I'm going to first, before I show you with a picture, I'm going to tell you like the formula or the what happens, so that way you have a better understanding of the rules behind how to move the image. This will help those of us who have a hard time picturing these types of things. Okay, so first of all, you can move clockwise 90 degrees. Okay, so we could move clockwise 90 degrees. You can also move counterclockwise 90 degrees. The way that we move clockwise 90 degrees is we will start with our ordered pair. Let's say it's X and Y. Both are positives. If we move 90 degrees clockwise, our outcome or our new ordered pair is going to change. Our Y value will stay the same, but the X value becomes the opposite. So if I start with a positive X, it becomes a negative X. If I start with a negative X, it will become a positive X. You just do whatever the opposite x value is. Now, if it's counterclockwise, this one is a little bit different. A counterclockwise change will go from x comma y, and it will turn into a negative y and a positive x. So that means that the x value stays the same, but the y value is opposite. So in this clock, you're going from 12 to 3. In this one, you're actually going from 12 to 9. So you're the opposite of the 3. And that's why it looks like this. They're opposites. 3 is opposite of 9. 9 is opposite of 3 on a clock. And so that's why you have the points that look like this. Okay? However, if we're going to go to a 180-degree turn, if we go 180 degrees in our turn, we're going to start again with x, y, but 180 puts us at 6, and on this one, 180 also puts us at 6, which means that our change is the exact same. So if I start with x, y, I'm just going to do the opposite or upside down from 12 to 6, which means that my change will be a negative, the opposite of the x I start with, and the opposite of the y I start with. Here, I'm, again, exact same thing because it's in the same spot on the clock. I started with positive x, positive y. I'm just going to do the opposite of those values. Okay, our last type of rotation that can happen that we're going to look at is a clockwise rotation of 270 degrees. If I rotate 270 degrees clockwise, I'm going to go to 3, to 6, to 9. Well, over here, when I was at the 9, look, it was negative y, x, which is exactly the same thing because you're the opposite. So if I start with x, y again, my new values are going to be the opposite y value and the regular x value, opposite of where you were at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay, flip it over here. Over here, if I were to go counterclockwise 270, so here's 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns to 270, I'm ending at the 3. Well, when I was at 3 over here, it was the 90. So really, a 90 counterclockwise is the same thing as a 270 clockwise. So I'm going to go 270, and I start with an x value and a y value. I'm going to end with the exact same y value and the opposite x value. Okay, so now that we have our chart built about what our new coordinates are going to look like, let's start to put this all together so that you can see what it looks like when we're graphing some figures. Okay, so the first figure that we're going to graph is a trapezoid. And we're going to graph this trapezoid, and it's going to rotate 180 degrees. Rotate 180 degrees. Now, it can rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise because they both end the same way. So we're going to start with the trapezoid. And the points that we have are the A value is -4, the Y is 2. Oh, I'm sorry. This trapezoid is actually W. Okay, W, X, Y, and Z are our trapezoid points, dots. Point X is -3, 4. Y is -1, 4. And Z is -1, 2. So there's our points. Let's go ahead and graph this trapezoid. So we're going to take our graph paper and we're going to graph the very first trapezoid right here. And then we'll transform it. There we go. All right, so let me just create this real quick. Boom, boom, do, 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 boom, boom. All right, so my first value is W negative 4, 2. Let's push this up. W negative 4, 2. So I'm going to go over negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2. That's W. Then I want X is negative 3, 4. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that is X. Y is negative 1, 4. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Z, negative 1, 2, Z. All right, so we have our trapezoid here. And our trapezoid is going to rotate 180 degrees. So pretend I'm a trapezoid, and I am going to rotate 180 degrees, okay? So I'm a trapezoid. I'm facing you right now. If I go 90, you see the side of my head. If I go 180, you see the back of me, okay? 270 would be the other side of my head, and then I would be all the way back around. So this trapezoid is going to do the exact same thing. It's rotating 180 degrees. So let's go ahead and look and see what we're supposed to have. So we start with XY. We're going to end with opposite X, opposite Y. So I want opposite X, opposite Y. And I'm just going to write that down here so that I remember it's not necessarily a negative sign. It's the opposite value. Okay? So let's go ahead and transform this image to its new, or transform this figure to its new image. So W image 1 is going to be the opposite X value, which is 4, and the opposite Y value, which is negative 2. The image of X is going to be opposite and opposite. So Y value, opposite of negative 1 is a positive 1. Opposite of positive 4 is a negative 4. And the opposite Z, oh my goodness, missing lender. We're going to go to positive 1, negative 2. So I'm going to take these image now, this image, and I'm going to graph it. And it doesn't matter which direction I go. I just know that I need to rotate around the origin 180 degrees. So I went from this, and I went 1 box, 2 boxes, so it's going to be somewhere in this quadrant. Same thing, if I went the other direction, 180. If I went 90, 180 counterclockwise, I'm still in the exact same box right here. So however I rotate around this origin, I'm just going to take this and move it, rotate it, just like I rotated in my chair. So W1, I'm going to go to 4, negative 2. So over to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 2. W1. My image is 3, negative 4, so I'm going to go over to 3, down to 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is WX, and Y is 1, negative 4, so over 1, negative 4, that's Y1, and then 1, negative 2. So over 1, 2, that's C1. So I'm going to connect these dots, and boom. I have a trapezoid. I've rotated it once and twice, so now it's facing this way. It's like a pinwheel, spinning around the origin. All right, go ahead and hit pause right now if you need to finish copying this. I'm now going to turn the page so we can do another example. And this time we're going to look at spinning counterclockwise. There we go. All right, so this next image is asking us to rotate counterclockwise. (270 degrees. So we're going to rotate this 270 degrees counterclockwise. So here I am. I'm going to go counterclockwise, which is the opposite direction. So I'm going to start at 12. I'm going to go to 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and end at 3 o'clock counterclockwise. When I did this before and I went clockwise, I was at 12 o'clock, and then clockwise 90 degrees is just 3 o'clock. So that's how you get the 90 degree and the 270 degree clockwise counterclockwise are the exact same. But one thing at a time. So let's first look at the first image. It is A with a -4, 1. B has a -1, 6, and C is going to be a -1, 1. So let's go ahead and graph this first image, and then we're going to find out what our new points are going to be. Getting a little dizzy with all this spinning today. All right, so if you have a spinny chair, I would be careful that you don't fall over when you're practicing these rotations at home. If you don't have a spinny chair, you are welcome to stand up and spin around. Just count out where you're at. Okay, so we're at -4, 1. Our new coordinates. When we look at counterclockwise, we're going to come over here. Under counterclockwise, we're going to go down to 270. And so counterclockwise 270, we're going to stay with the same y, opposite x. Same y, but opposite x value. So let's write that down here. Same y value, opposite x value. That helps us to know how to write this thing out. All right, so same y value. My y value here is 1. My new y value is also going to be 1, but opposite x. So opposite of -4 is a +4. And then opposite of, same y is 6. Opposite x is going to be positive. And last but not least, same y value, which is 1. Opposite of -1 is a +1. So let's go ahead and graph both of these. I forgot to graph that one like I said it was going to. So let's go -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, +1. -1, 6, 5 and 6. Ooh, look at this. -1, 1. We have a right triangle. It's always a mystery until we connect the dots. So we're going to end with a right triangle. The right triangle wants to go counterclockwise, so we're going to spin counterclockwise 270 degrees. So here's 90, 180, 270. So it's going to end here in this origin. And if we went 360, it would just go back here, which is where it started. So let's go ahead with 1, 4. So we're going to go over to 1 and up to 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's A1. And B1, the image, 6, 1. So we're going to go over 6. So over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 1. And last but not least, C1 is 1, 1. And we're just going to connect all of our dots And look, we've got our right triangle. It's spun, and here we go. That is where it's at. So we have a triangle that's now kind of on its side. Okay, it is your turn now for a try it. So we're going to do a try it today. And your try it is going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. And when you rotate 90 degrees clockwise, this is the image you're rotating. It starts at point A, which is 5, 3. Point B, which is 4, -1. And point C, which is 1, -1. So go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me talking. Remember to come back here and look. Clockwise, 90, find your rule, and then go from there. Okay, so hit pause, and then when you're ready, come on back and hit play so that you can solve the problems with me or check your understanding. All right, here we go. So we're going to start out with my graph paper, and I'm going to graph this first image for us. Boom, boom. And about center is here. I think my next sticky notes I buy are going to already have this stuff drawn for me. Okay, so I want to rotate 90 clockwise. So 90 degrees clockwise says I have the same y value, opposite x. Same y value, opposite x value. This just helps me to remember what it is that I'm looking at. When I write that extra little bit, it helps me to keep things organized. So let's go ahead and rotate this image clockwise. Same y, which is 3, opposite -5. Same y value, -1. Opposite of x, we had 4, we're going to go to -4. Same y value, -1 again, and opposite is -1. So let's go ahead and graph this thing and see what we end up with. So let's start with 5, 3. So I'm going to go over to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then go 1, 2, and 3. That is A. B is 4, -1, so over 1, 2, 3, and 4, down 1. That is B. And then C is 1, -1. So I'm going to go over 1, down -1, and that gives me a C value. Connect this. It looks like I have another triangle here. And now, oh, sorry, that line got crazy. Should be using my ruler paper. Okay, and now we're going to go to 3, -5. So our new triangle is going to rotate 90 degrees. So 1 rotation to 90 degrees. So A is going to rotate 90 degrees. And let's go ahead and start. So 3, -5. So I'm going to go over to 3, 1, 2, and 3, and down to -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is the image of A. All right, B1 is now at -1, -4. So there's -1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, -4. That is B1. And then C. I'm at -1, -1, -1. So I'm going to go over to -1, down to -1, and that is C1. I'm going to connect these lines, and boom, same triangle. It's just spun 90 degrees one time, and that is that. All right, so go ahead and answer your essential question. How did you do on this? How do we rotate images? There's quite a few steps here. How are you feeling about that? Put your level of understanding out to the side. And then when you're ready, you can come on back to the Google Meet and ask for help, or you can go ahead and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work and effort, and make it a great day.